Hello, everyone. Hi. Am I audible? Hello, I'm trying to do a mic check. Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. On behalf of the team, I would like to welcome everyone to today's session. Please just give us, about 1 or 2 more minutes to start the session. Hopefully, more people can still join before then. So please indulge us another 1 or 2 minutes before we can kick off. Once again, thanks for joining, and hopefully, we can kick off in the next 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. Hi, people. It's a pleasure to have you here today. I'm gonna turn on my camera now, so hopefully you can see me. So good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're joining. My name is Taiwo. I'm a BI developer, and I'm quite excited to be to be leading this session, with Augustine. Very soon I'm going to introduce Augustine, and I believe that we're going to, have a wonderful time today. So before we move on to the agenda, I want to quickly tell you about the session. It's simply termed a taster session. So it's a monthly rituals for Scenario Academy, and then the objective has always been to, help people or enthusiasts who are trying to or looking to transition into data analytics, or people who maybe just trying to gain some data analytics knowledge to, which could be beneficial to them in their current work. So so it's a monthly rituals, and then hopefully they will continue to keep their rituals, and so that people like you could benefit from it. So I believe that we're going to have a wonderful time today, and also we'll try as much as possible to manage time. So what I'm going to do right now is to quickly read out the agenda for today. So yeah, the agenda for today, I would be reading out the housekeeping rule, and this will really help us and guide us to ensure that we have a wonderful session. Also, I'll do a quick introduction in 5 minutes about the Scenario Academy as an organization and community. Also, we'll look at the industry landscape. I will be leading that session, and it shouldn't last more than 15 to 20 minutes. Also, and then after then we would have Augustine, lead the hands-on session. Then we can come back and do a bit of Q&A. So if you have any questions, it's really you can either drop it within the chat, or wait until the Q&A session, which is after the presentation, to ask any question that you may have. Also we'll then come back and discuss about the community and the opportunities we have within the community that we're building here, and for you to leverage on. And then we close out with selfie. Right. So once again, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you, and I'm looking forward to having a wonderful time with you. So with respect to the housekeeping rule, of course, I think we all know we just have to ensure that we have our mic mute all the time. And then we plead that you try as much as possible to stay present. If you want to speak, you can actually use the hand raising option. Zoom has a hand raising option. You can use that to raise your hand, and then we'll enable you and allow you to speak. You can also use the chat box if you have any message or any information that you feel we should know. And then also it's important to know that the session is being recorded in case, or peradventure you miss any aspect of the session, you can always catch up with it in the recording. So the recording is going to be shared with you at the end of the session. And then you can actually replay at any time that you want. Yeah, so that being said, so that leads us to the who we are. So in terms of the organizations in our academy, so it was actually a community that was set up by a couple of experts, and talking about data analytics experts, and it later morphed into academy. I mean, the intention initially was to actually democratize the data analytics knowledge. So we were established in 2019. We started out in 2019, and so far so good. I think the community has been growing, and we've been helping people to fully transition. We've been helping organizations to leverage analytics and many more. So our faculty, in terms of the years of experience of our faculty, combined years of experience is in the region of 28 years. So, so you can imagine what level of experience, the experienced people we have within our faculty. So in terms of the consulting arm, so there's a consulting arm of the academy, which is developers, where we, bring in people to kind of have an experience as a form of internship, have an experience of how projects are being built for clients, especially data analytics or data related projects. So in terms of the client that the consulting arm has worked with, they include companies like First Bank, Green Africa, and several other companies that you have here. So, and also you can see our faculty, I experienced people from, diverse industries. So that being said, we'll look at, competitive advantage. So one of the reasons why, or can I say some of the reasons why, scenario academy seems to be leading the chase when it comes to value, offering value as an organization or as an institution. It happens that Scenario Academy seems to be one of the very few that offers both the hybrid online and offline, classes for people who intend to transition into analytics. So we also, I mean, one of the things we brag about is the fact that most of our instructors come from different business domains. So we kind of help people to understand how analytics is being done across different, business domains, whether it is airlines or it is healthcare or it is manufacturing, or it is transportations and the likes. Gamification is one huge thing that actually help people to not get tired of learning. So when we try to embed fun into learning, so it seems to be to pay off a lot. So we usually, like I mentioned, we usually offer internship for most of our people who tend to leverage the academy. We also have a community where we help people to, especially those who have taken our programs to, we handhold them, especially when they are done with learning or when they are trying to learn, as well as when they are trying to look for a job. So we try to handhold them, prep them for them to land the job, their desired job. So they also offer reference in terms of helping you to giving you reference, especially if you've gone through the trainings and internship. We do also organize what we call alumni meetup. We had the the second quarter on yesterday, where we shared, with our alumni how they can actually create income statement in Power BI. I mean, using analytics to design financial statements. So, which was a great time we had yesterday. So that being said, excuse me. So that being said, we now look at data analytics in simple terms. So what is data analytics? It's simply all about, taking raw data from organizations, regardless of whatever they've stored it. It could be in an Excel sheet, it could be in a database, it could be online, it could be anywhere. So the idea is the plan is for you to take the data and understand the data, prepare the data, and the goal is actually for you to identify trends, identify trends and possible insight or actionable insight that you can derive from the data, that can actually help different business units or stakeholders within the business to make, better financial, better business, better commercial, decisions, right? Especially valuable decisions. So that is, so that's what data analytics is all about. It's all about picking data, existing data within the organization, existing data within the organization, both primary and secondary data, and then just playing around with the data, trying to derive insight from the data, and then communicating those insights to the major stakeholders within the business, be it commercial or operations team or finance team, right? And in order for them to make decisions. So, and not just decision, we're talking about valuable decisions. So when we say valuable decision, it means that when they make decision, at the end of the day, decisions should be able to yield values, right? So that being said, that brings us to the main reason why we are here. Majority of us probably want to know what is this fuse about data analytics? Why is everybody talking about data analytics? Why are people rushing into the domain, right? So the thing is that if you look at the last 10 years, right, I mean, there's been some form of explosion in terms of, production of data. We saw how, we saw the total, I mean, if you look at some of the charts or the information here, you saw, how, the total amount of data that has been created or captured or, consumed globally. We saw how it's actually exploded or it has grown rapidly, I mean, up to about, I think about 64 zettabyte in 2020, right? And I mean, that number, if you look at it, is quite even higher than what was projected, right? So, and the thing is that one of the key drivers of that growth, exponential growth, is that is the COVID-19 pandemic actually created a lot of data, because a lot of people started working from home, a lot of people started learning from home, learning online, and so it created a huge data within the last 10 years. There's been that huge explosion of data, right? And if you look at it, you say over 90% of the data in existence, they were just created within the last 10 years, right? So, and then the thing is that if you look at the chart here, it's, over the next, over the next 5 years or, up to 2025, it's actually predicted that the global, the global data creation is kind of projected to grow to, more than 181, zettabytes. If you look at it, so it says zettabytes here, right? And then for you to have an idea of what the zettabyte means, you can look at the history of data sizes here, right? And then that gives you a bit of, an idea. And the thing is that this explosion has kind of created, more huge data analysis gap, right? And data job opportunities, looking for professionals to actually fill those roles. So I think this might be the right time for you to tap into the, into the opportunity. So what is really data analytics in terms of what is the type of data analytics or scope of data analytics? So when we say people do data analysis, what kind of analysis they do. So in terms of the high level scope of data analytics, or say type of data analytics, we have 4 of them. So there's what you call the descriptive analytics, the diagnostic analytics, the predictive, and the prescriptive. And if you look at the chart above, it's simply well explanatory, right? I mean, the descriptive analytics kind of looks at what, what happens in the past. So take, for example, Google Analytics is a good example of descriptive analytics in action, right? So what it does is that, it provides a simple Google Analytics provide a simple overview of what has been going on, maybe on your website, or, showing you how many people visited your website in a given time frame or time period, for example, or, where your customers, are coming from, customers who are visiting your website. So that is what descriptive analytics talks about, tells you exactly what has happened with respect to your company or your organization or your data in the past, right? Then diagnostic analytics kind of helps you to understand why, something happened. For example, if let's say your descriptive analytics shows, that there is, maybe that there was a 20% drop in sales, in the month of May. You want to find out why that drop, right? So that's what diagnostic analytics does for you. So you want to find out why they drop. And then you have the prescriptive analytics that basically tells you, what is likely going to happen, right? So it tells you, what is likely going to happen in the future. It kind of predicts, or what you call forecast, right? And it's practically, useful to businesses, especially when they want to plan ahead, right? So that's what predictive is all about. It helps to forecast what is going to happen or what is likely going to happen in the future. Maybe a simple example is, let's say you own a restaurant, right? And you probably want to predict how many takeaways, how many takeaway order that you would likely get on a Sunday night, right? So those are kind of example of a predictive analytics. And then in terms of prescriptive analytics, you have, how can we make things happen? That's what it simply speak about. It practically just, looks at what has happened, why it happened, and what might happen in order to determine what to do next, right? So that's what prescriptive analytics talks about. So it helps you to practically understand what has happened, why it happened, and then you also goes ahead to help you understand, what might happen, right, in order to determine what to do next. So that's what prescriptive analytics, talks about. Is simply more foresight. So that being said, a simple end-to-end data environment, right? I mean, this is just to give you a baseline for what, Augustine is going to present for us, right? So in terms of the normal data environment, in terms of an data environment within an organization, so you have different roles and different people who does different things within a data environment. So usually, or most of the time, as an entrant, what you usually, learn is data analysis, especially data visualization, right? So you help to, you try to learn how to visualize data, get data from wherever it is stored, visualize it, and then, make presentations or, derive insight and present it to major stakeholders within the business. So that is what, you practically do as an entry level data analyst, or whatever level you want to go in, right, as a data analyst. Meanwhile, there are actually some other roles within the, within the system that actually, help to maybe sometimes get the data ready before you can, pick the data from where it should be. Try to clean up some form of engineering roles within the organization, right? Data engineering roles. So an example is that if you look at this chart, it's possible that, data might be stored in different places, right? And the business needs a data engineer or someone who is, able to integrate data from different or disparate sources, right, into a single data environment. So you can see here, so organizations can have their call center data in a different place, their CRM data in a different place, their finance data in a different place, there are, different HR data in a different place, right? And the goal of the data engineer, or the role of data engineer, is to, harmonize those data or integrate all of them into a single source. Why you usually call it single source of truth, where where a data analyst or data or BI developer or visualization expert can go in to connect to that single source of truth and then do the data analysis on it, right? So apparently, so in terms of the roles of the people who make the data ready, you have the data engineer, you have the BI developer as well, you have the ETL developer. ETL simply means, extract, transform, and load data, which is simply extract data from source, transform it. Transformation means maybe cleaning up the data. If there are duplicate data, deduping it, or generating new data from the data that is coming in before it goes into the data warehouse. So so those are the other roles that we have apart from the data analyst role, who simply does data visualization and reporting. And then BI, of course, even the BI developer also does visualization. And then we have the data scientist that also does some advanced data analysis, right? Using tools like R language, Python, and the likes. So if you look at the technical tools here, for a data engineer, you have to know how to use SQL. You have to know how to use SQL. That's the number one, the most important thing, tool of a data engineer. And then there are some other data integration tools like SSIS, which is SQL Server Integration Service. Azure Data Factory, it is like a kind of cloud version of this SSIS that is also used to integrate data from source to destination. We also have, Python is also a tool that is used for data engineering. And there are a couple of several other tools, right? But these are just the ones that I'm usually biased towards. Then in terms of visualization or reporting, you have tools like Power BI, have, Tableau. Power BI is simply, usually, the Tableau is like common within the northern, the North America region. Power BI, the, Europe, Middle East, and the likes. So we have more people use Power BI for the data visualization or data reporting within the organization. We also have tools like Click. We have Excel also as a tool. We have SQL. So even as a data analyst, you need to understand SQL. There are things that probably may not be working well, and you want to just go into the data warehouse and write some queries to see what it looks like, SQL queries, because the data warehouse is a database. So you also have, Python is also used for visualization or data analysis and R language. Some advanced visualization or analysis that maybe might be simpler or easier to do in Python than using any of these other visualization tools. Of course, a couple of other things is problem-solving skills, communication skills, critical thinking, project management. You need to know how to use tools like Jira, where you have been assigned task, or DevOps, where you'd be assigned task, and then you pick it from there and get done. So that being said, so in terms of the major players within these tools, I have mentioned, of course, I have my own bias towards Microsoft tools like, Microsoft SQL Server, Microsoft Integration Service, and then, of course, there's also Python. Basically, these are the tools used for data engineering. Of course, there are a lot more, but these are the most common ones. You have for, on-prem environment, you have SQL, you have, SQL Server Integration Service, and then you have Python. And then there are also organizations that are moving now to cloud platforms, right? For data integration or data engineering, you have like the Azure Data Factory, you have the BigQuery, you have the DBT Labs, you have the Snowflakes. So those are like tools that you even have the Amazon Redshift as well. So those are cloud platforms that are taking over the on-prem, infrastructure. So for visualization, I've mentioned this. And then in terms of databases that you need to learn and know, you have the SQL Server, you have the Postgres, you have the MySQL. Of course, Oracle is, largely a corporate environment, a fairly large corporate environment too, because of the cost, right? So at least any of these three will really, any or two or three of these three will really, the knowledge of it will really help you. Of course, like I said, Microsoft continues to lead the pack when it comes to this, providing tools for data analysts and data engineers. Microsoft continues to lead the pack. Tableau, next, especially on the leaderboard, and then Click. And then you also have several others that you may come across, but not all the time, very, some very few times, right? So that is, that being said, we have the basic time intelligence analysis that is being done. So say you get into an organization, what's the next thing to do? Basic time intelligence analysis. You want to aggregate revenue, for the organization wants to be able to, aggregate their revenue and see it on charts, and be able to be seeing it, refresh every day. Could be, their revenue, their, number of orders, number of customers, and the likes, number of sales. They also want to compare it to the previous year. They want to compare, a monthly revenue with the same period, same month last year. They want to compare also on a quarterly basis. They also want to be able to see all of these on a product-wise, location-wise. They want to see how well they've covered in terms of their geographical spread. They want to see how each salespeople are performing. They want to see, their distribution channels, how, they are performing. They want to see the customer. They also want to do a lot of understanding of their customers, right? So, and these are a couple of advanced analysis. So they want to have an understanding of, how their customers, the behavior of their customers, so that they can actually, properly target the right customers with the right product. So when you talk about distribution channels, if we are using our internal, logistic, delivery company, is it better that we outsource, or should we keep using? So there's a lot of analysis that is being done across there to, highlight some insight. And then in terms of, I think this is like the last slide. So in terms of the customer analysis, the advanced customer analysis, these are just some of the couple of advanced customer analysis that you find yourself doing. I'll probably just speak to very few of them. Sensitivity analysis. Businesses want to see if they change price, are people still buying? So that's what sensitivity means. So if they change price, are people still buying? Like more like if I make a change in something, does it impact something else? So sensitivity is all about the impact of changing one variable over the other. So then you have the market segmentation. So what are through which means are our businesses coming from, and which one is leading the pack? How can we continue to ensure that we don't lose out, or we don't mess up that particular channel where our businesses are coming from? So understand their market segments, and then be able to monitor it as well and continue to grow each of the segment. So you have the cohort analysis also that speak to customers in terms of their buying pattern. So when you acquire a customer and the customer comes for the first time, when is the next time, right? If the customer buys this month, is he going to buy next month? So, for the first time this month, what, did he buy next, the second month? Is he going to buy the third month? Is he going to buy the fourth month? Or is he going to buy after 4 months? Just more like understanding the, buying pattern of your customers. And then you have the RFM analysis, which simply, helps you to use the frequency of your customers in terms of the number of product they've bought from you, the last time they bought from you, and the amount they have, bought from you. So combining the three of them to, classify your customer, to know whether they are, potential loyalists, whether they are customers who are at risk, or you're at risk of losing them, or they're your loyal customers, or they are customers who needs attention and the like. So that's what, RFM analysis speaks to. And then you have some couple of others like basket analysis, Pareto, predictive. So these are like advanced, right, that you can just, get your hands dirty on. Then we also have, of course, financial reporting has also become a part of, data analyst role. You initially used to be practically a consultant, responsibility. But now, data analysts are beginning to, do and, build financial statement with the visualization tools that we have, right? So those are the the things that you just need to, the understanding you need to have with rest if you want to go into data analysis. And I know Augustine is going to elaborate a bit more and then give us a bit of practical perspective in terms of one of the tools. So before I hand over to Augustine, I just want to quickly tell you who he is. Augustine is a data engineer, and he works for United Capital as a data engineer. And before joining United Capital, he has worked with FCMB, in different roles. He has led the retail MIS and analytics. He has also work as a customer insight analyst as well as a business data analyst before, at FCMB. So I would be handing you over to Augustine, and I believe the presentation has given you a bit of background or insight into what the landscape looks like and how you can or support your transitioning joining. So Augustine, can you hear me?
Hey, good afternoon, Tyra. I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, perfect. So I'm going to hand over to Augustine now, and then I would be back. All right. All right. Thanks, Augustine.
Okay.
Over to you.
All right. Thank you very much. So I will just take it from here. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. So wherever you may be around the world. So I'll be sharing my screen shortly and just take you through to one of the applications that we use for data analysis. So Taiwo has spoken a lot regarding data analysis, right? So my job here now is to show you an application that you can use for data analysis to just to literally to transform and to visualize data, really. So I'm going to show you how to use Power BI to transform and visualize data. Please, can I see some 111 if you can see my screen? If you can see my screen, please. Okay. Okay, great. Great. So the application here on my screen is Power BI Desktop. So in essence, so what Power BI Desktop helps us to do largely is to analyze and visualize data. Is to analyze and visualize data, and also to clean up data to some extent. Like Taiwo mentioned just now, we have different roles in data analysis. So I'm just going to show you how this tool works, how it works. So Power BI is a tool from Microsoft. So Microsoft and is born from Microsoft Excel, from three components of Microsoft Excel, which is the Power Query component, the Power Pivot, and the Power View. So on Power BI now, is a, like as the name sounds, BI is a business intelligence tool. What it helps you to do really is that it helps you automate your manual processes. It helps you automate your manual processes. Let me just go straight to the practical session. So here, what you can see on my screen now is a Power BI canvas. We call this area the canvas. So on this Power BI desktop, this area is called a report canvas. So on Power BI desktop, you have three components right here. It's called the report view, the data view, and the model view. So what I'll just try to do today is to just run you through how you can generate a simple and efficient report using Power BI desktop. So before I have what I call the 7 pillars of Power BI, which is like the standard process that you follow in generating reports, any kind of Power BI report or any kind of BI project that you want to execute in Power BI. First of all, there must be a data source, like as what I also said just now, like a data warehouse or like different sources of data. There must be a data source. That is the first part. You must get the data you want to analyze. Then the second part, which is the extract, transform, and load, the ETL part. So in Power BI, you get the data, that is step one. Step two, you transform the data. You transform and load the data, that is step two. Step three, you create models using that data. That is step three. So maybe I should just quickly share this here and just walk you through. So, this is 7 pillars. First, you get data. The step two is that you shape and transform the data. All this happen in the component of Power BI we call the Power Query. So after this, you then build your data models, summarize your data with measures, visualize your data, share. All these 5 processes, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 processes happen in the component of Power BI we call the Power BI desktop. While we have another component of Power BI called the Power BI service. So on Power BI service, you share and automate. Power BI service is the web part of Power BI. All this, when you enroll for the classes, we'll be taking you through all of this step by step. So now, I'm going to go to the first step, which is getting data. So in Power BI, you can get data from over 50 sources. And all those, the source keeps on increasing by the day. The source keeps on increasing by the day. You can get from over 50 sources now, but it keeps on increasing by the day. Okay, so we are going to get data from a source, a PDF data source. To show you how powerful this thing is, you can get data from Excel, from, oh, sorry, just a minute. 1 minute, please, sorry. Sorry, I'm back. So my daughter just kept knocking at the door. So, okay. So now let's move on. So we are going to get data from a data source, and I'm going to show you that data source. So on my local computer here, I have this data source, this sales data source. So I have direct sales and other direct sales. So what happens is that, so each day, sales happen each day. Then when it happens, at end of day, the file for the sales drop in here. So this is how the data looks like. We have the date of the sale here, the employee name that made the sale, the supervisor of the employee, the location, and the sales amount. So this system is a transactional system that when the data generates, it generates somewhere, and it's not keeping it in any file, like it's not keeping it in an Excel file format or something. It generates PDF. So and each day, the file generates and drop on this particular folder. So you can see that, you can see for different days from between January and February. So now, this data now, I'm going to bring all that data into Power BI. And when I go to the get data component in Power BI, so looking at here, I can't see anything like PDF here. So I go to more, right? So I click on more. So this brings up a dialog box. You can see a whole lot of data sources that I can get from. So now this is PDF. So I click on the PDF and click on connect. So let me go back to that folder, the direct sales. So now, can you see this? So I have this file for, if I want to get it through PDF, I have to get it one at a time. And you can see this file, that this file is over, so it can get as many as possible. So I'm going to get one to this file. This is just for one day, just to illustrate to you. So what Power BI does is that it just automatically recognizes that because I use the PDF connector, of course. So it tells me that it just sees that this is a PDF and it splits it into two parts, which is the table and the page. So we are going to go with the table aspects because it's the table. We already see, we saw the data already and we know that, okay, it's just the table that we want to extract. So we just click on the table and click on transform. So transform takes us to another component of Power BI called the Power Query. So this is Power Query right here. This is Power Query. You can see all the, you can see that right here. So what we use Power Query for is to clean data. Sorry, let me bring that Power Query view back. So Power Query is meant for cleaning data, right? So, but now we have a lot of PDF files right there. Let's go back there again. So getting it one by one. Can someone tell me, is it efficient? Just imagine you have to get this one by one into Power BI desktop. Can someone just unmute and tell me whether it's efficient? Is it efficient? Does it make sense to you? No, here it doesn't. So why is it an automation tool if you have to get it in one by one? So Power BI has another connector that we call what? A folder. So the folder connector. So in this case, where you see this kind of data, you use the folder connector instead of the file. So I just want to illustrate this. So we are going to close this. Close this. We won't save it. Then let's go to Power BI again. And so let's discard this and get the folder. And get the folder. So go to get data again. More. So it brings up that dialog box again. Then this time we go for folder. Then we click on connect. So it says folder paths. You can either copy the folder path and paste here, or you browse to the folder. So that folder is in my desktop. Daily sales reports, then direct sales. So I click on OK. I click on OK here. So this connects, this gives me a preview of all the files on that folder. So right here, it's asking if I want to combine. So what I will advise everyone to do is not to combine from here because you want to combine only the table and not the page. So you go to transform data first, you click on transform, and in anything you are doing, no matter how clean the data is, so you have to transform first because it's just a standard procedure to follow to just ensure.
Augustine, you have some questions. So
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me take them. Yeah. Oh, I just asked a question that is it who wants to ask a question because on the chat box I can't see. So who wants to ask a question?
So the question was, is there a way to upload all the PDF at once?
Yeah, that's what we are doing right now. That's as it says, I was asking if to take it one by fast is efficient. So I saw the response on the chat that it's not efficient. So that was when we went to the folder approach. So you can actually get everything in. So I can go over that again. Yeah. So if you want to get everything in at once, so the most efficient approach in this case is to use the folder. So you go to get data, more. So as I usually tell anyone that I teach, that anything that is looking too difficult in Power BI, know that it's not the right approach, right? Just know that it's not the right approach. So I pick on folder, I click on connect. So I browse to the folder paths. So this is the folder, is on my desktop. And this is the folder direct sales, where all those files are. I click on OK and OK. So this gives me the preview of all the files in that folder. So here, I'll click on transform. So it brings me to my Power Query editor. So it's right here, Power Query editor. This is where I do all the transformation. This is where I do all the transformation. So what is transformation? You are cleaning up the data. You are putting what you, and so we are just doing a demo, but in real life, you will have a use case that you will use for all these things. And that's what we are going to teach you. Yeah, our training are practical, are very, very practical, and are use case driven based on what you typically get from organizations. So now I have all the files here and all the dates. So the next thing is on this content, I'm going to combine here, right here, combine files. I'm going to click on it. So it tells me that do I want to combine just, do I want to combine the table and the page? It just shows me the first file. So all what I want to combine is the table. So I click on the table. It just gives me the sample of the first file. Then I click on OK. So for data transformation, there are also 7 basic rules that we also share with our students. Some rules on how you can transform data. So, but I'm just going to implement that today just because of time. So now you can see that all the data here, you can say 10th February, 10th January, 11th February, you can see all the files are in here. So the next thing is that one of those rules is that, so for your data to be ready for analysis, there must be a single row of headers. Here, what I can see here is column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. And I can see something like sales amount, location, supervisor, employee name and date, and they keep on repeating. So now we are going to clean it so that we can align with one of those rules, which is a single row of header. On this source name, for example, this now is not adding any value on this data anymore. It's just showing us that, okay, this data is coming from the 10th, but we have it consolidated as one data right now. So this is not adding any value. So anything that does not add value to your analysis, you can take it off. And Power BI makes it so easy to take it off. So under home, right, you see where you have choose columns. Just click on choose columns, and just uncheck what you want to take out. So easy. And click on OK. So now, I want to take out these rows that are repetitive. So a simple way of doing it is another thing is that Power BI also works with table and columns. So whatever you do to one column or to one row or anything, it affects the rest. So there's nothing like rows here. It's either is Power BI this with table and columns, and that we are going to explain more during the sessions. So now, first of all, I want to make this in row 2 here, the header. How do I do this? I have to take this row 1 off first. And everything in Power BI is just simple English. So I will look for what is telling me to remove rows. So I can see something here, remove rows, remove top rows. I click on it. Then the top row I want to remove is just the first one. So I just type in 1 here and click on OK. So it takes that off easy. So I say, okay, what can make me bring this up here? So everything here is just interact with it. So it says, so what can I do now? So I want to take this, I want to bring it up. So I want to use this as header. So I'll check here under home, what is telling me to do that. So I can see something here saying I should use first row as headers. Nice. So I click on it. You can see it promoted it up here. It's now the header. So all this, I want to take it off because I want to just have a single row of header. So I come here. I can clearly see my null here. So, and I know once I take null off, all these things like this, everything in the null row goes off. Look at dates. Once I take this, uncheck these dates, everything in the date row goes off. And the other thing you can use to check if your data is clean or not is on the view. So what we call column quality. Let me just check that. So it's showing you valid, error, empty. You can say empty is 5%. So until you have 100% on your valid, your data is not clean. So now, on the dates, I'm going to remove those two things. Null, I'm going to take off dates. I'm going to click on OK. So there are several ways of doing this thing I'm doing now, which we cannot totally explore here. This is not the only way. So now, you can see up here, all this tiny space here, these are the data types. ABC means text. So it's telling us now that everything here is ABC. Meanwhile, we know that this is dates. This is also very critical. This should be dates. So anything text like this can be ABC, which is text, eyes on our data type. And the sales amount is clearly not text, it's number. So to get the right data type, also easy. You can just highlight everything with Control and A. It highlights everything. Then you go to transform and click on detect data type. So once you click on detect data type, so everything automatically changes to the data type that it's supposed to be. So can you see now that we have 100% all around? So this is just a little bit of the data transformation power of Power BI, right? So now, once you have 100%, you are sure that your data is fine and is good for further analysis. So once you're sure of that, you come back to home and click on close and apply, close and apply. What this does is that it applies those changes that you've made and bring them into Power BI desktop from Power Query. So that is, we've just done two parts, getting data and transforming the data. So the next thing we are going to do, we are not going to do modeling and all those things here today because of time. So we are going to do those sessions in class. We'll jump straight to visualization, right? So now here, this interface is telling us now that we should build our visuals. So on this data interface, like you can see my data view here, all that same data I have on Power Query. And on this model, here I just have one table. Once I have more tables now, I can create relationships between the table. Those we will discuss during the classes. So here, now, I'm going to build a simple visualization. So around this area, on my right, I have the visualization pane. So here it contains the visualizations that is available that you can use in Power BI. And there are more. There are more in the marketplace. So we are also going to show you how to get all those. But let's just do simple visualizations with what we have here. So now, first of all, let's say I want to know the sales amount. What is even before you start analysis, there are rules to visualization, right? There are rules to visualization. It's important that you know your total number. So it's so easy. So this sales amount, I can just drag it and drop it here. So it gives me the default visual here, which is a bar chart. But I can change this chart to anything I want it to be. So let me change this to a card. So ideally, to show a single number, hard is the ideal chart to use. You can say I have 547,000. So again, I might want to see this sales amount, I might want to see it by dates. The ideal chart for showing dates is a trend line. I can click on the line chart. So it just give me a nice line chart here. Yeah. So I can put my dates on my x-axis. I just drag it and drop it in there. So and I can put what the sales amount on the y-axis. So it just gives me, so this is giving me a date hierarchy. So I can completely also change, since I just have 2 months here, I don't want to see it by month. I just want to see it by the dates. I just have 2 months data. So I can completely do this. Don't give me hierarchy, just give me the dates. So this gives me the report by date. So another interesting thing here is that another thing I love about Power BI is that you can ask questions about your data, right? You can tell your data that, okay, let me say, double clicking on the, let me do that again. So let me just take this off. Oh, let me just take it off. More option remove. So just double clicking on this chat box. So I can ask questions about my data. It's even suggesting for me. Yeah. I can say I want to see my sales amount, right? Sales amount. So you can see that it's displaying the sales amount by maybe, let me say location. So you see, it's giving me this nice, just by asking a question, it's giving me this nice chance that, okay, this is my sales amount by location. So I can decide to discard this. Or the beautiful thing is that I can also decide to turn this into a visual. Just click on it. So this, like I said, there are multiple ways of doing the same thing. This has given me a visual. So I can also do something else to say, I want to know something. So and you can completely move the chart to any direction you want to move it to. So I can decide to move my line chart to this area. So it's completely fine. So again, I can do this. I can say, I can do another chart. So to just give me maybe by employee name or something. Yeah, or yeah, this is by location, by employee name or this. So, but I want to show you something more, right? I want to show you something more. So there's also something in Power BI that we call smart narrative. And this is how it works. So what smart narrative does is it just helps us analyze everything you can see on these charts. And all you just need to do is to click on smart narrative and it just creates a narrative for you. So it just helps you analyze. So it's creating the narrative right now. So based on what you can see on your data and on your chart, it just helps you analyze all what's happening all around here. So without you stressing yourself that, oh, I want to start analyzing my data. So this completely analyzes it for you. So all you just need to do is to check through anyone that is fit for purpose for you. You keep it. Anyone you want to just modify slightly, you modify it. So this is the power of what Power BI can do. This is just a little of what Power BI can do. So you also have this interactive feature. Now, for example, if I want to see the trend of sales for New Jersey, I just simply click on New Jersey. So it gives me that trend. Or I want to see for New York, I just click on New York, it gives me that trend. Easy and sweet. So, but there is more to this. There is more. And as I'm clicking on this, everything on this dashboard is changing. Everything on the dashboard is changing. So there are many parameters I can also show here. We can see there's supervisor here and all this. Let me even show you another feature, which we call the slicer. This is the slicer. So what slicer does is that it helps you filter your report. So this is slicer. So maybe let me filter by supervisor, for instance. So I have three, sorry. So PK, right? So I can click on one supervisor and see what the team of that supervisor is doing. Can click on that. The location that that supervisor is covering, how is their performance? Yeah, and also this slicer, I can also modify my chart around this visualization area in this part that you see format your visual. So I can make this drop down instead of a vertical list. I can just make it a drop down. So let me show you one more thing before I close my session so I can take questions. So one question that people commonly ask is that, okay, after doing all these beautiful things, what now happens when your data changes? What happens when your data changes? Let me give you an example. For example, we know businesses. Yeah, if we check the dates here, we can see this is from when? This is from 1st of January 2020 to what? 15th of February 2020, right? What if more days come in? What will happen? Are we going to do the process all over again? Yeah, that's the common question. No. For each project, each BI project, once you build it, you've built that BI project. Once you build it, except you want to make some changes around the charting or you want to bring some additional data in and all those. But apart from that, you don't need, unlike manual reporting, which you continue updating every day. So this, you don't need to continue doing this process. You just need to do this process at once. Let me show you what happens when your data changes. So this is the data we have. We have up until 15th of February 2020. So now I'm going to add 3 days inside that folder, 16th, 17th, and 18th. And I'm going to copy. Yeah, this is copy right here. I'm going to copy, go back. So this is also peculiar to databases and every kind of system you're connecting to. So I'm going to paste, Control V. So I've pasted those data here, 16th, 17th, 18th of February. So all I need to do is to go back to Power BI, go to Home, and just click on Refresh. So once I click on Refresh, those new dates come in automatically. Those new dates come in automatically. Okay, can you see? This is done. If I check the trend here, I have what? 18th here, I have 17th here, I have 16th here. That is how Power BI works. So I'm just going to stop here today for this demo. There are loads that Power BI can do, which we are going to share during the training when you decide to join. So thank you very much. So I'll now take questions. Right.
All right, thanks, Augustine. So any question for Augustine? Okay, somebody's asking how do we get access to Power BI on the chat.
Okay, if you want to get access to Power BI, like what I didn't mention again is that Power BI is completely free. Right? Power BI desktop is completely free. So you will go to your search here on your computer. Yeah, all you just need to search for is your Microsoft Store. This is one way of getting Power BI. Microsoft Store, you click on it. So it opens up. So when it opens up, all you just need to do is to search for Power BI desktop and download. So Power BI desktop. So this is the app. So since I already have it on my system, it said I should open. So when you don't have it, you see get here. Yeah. So you see get here. So this is how to get, this is one way. Another way again is to go to the web. So you can go to the web and just type in Power BI or something, download Power BI. But I don't always advise that. I always advise that you get it from Microsoft Store because like your phones, once a new update comes, this automatically updates. But when you get from the web, it's it does not update. You need to, if Power BI brings an update, you will need to download and install Power BI again. Oh, no, Chromebook. I'm not sure you can install these apps on Chromebook. So because of the Chromebook is slightly a web-based laptop. So it's better you use a laptop that has Windows operating system. Also, Power BI is not available in Mac right now. So what you can do if you have a Mac laptop is to have a Windows parallel. You install a Windows parallel before you can install Power BI and other Windows application. Okay. Okay, for the dates to change, must I always refresh? Aha. So that brings us, when I gave you the 7 pillars of Power BI. So this is the desktop. We're still working on the desktop. When we publish to Power BI service, we can schedule a refresh on Power BI service. Such that, so the purpose of all this is automation. So this is just to show you, right? So you don't need to always click on refresh. When we've done all the configuration, all the development, we publish to the web part, which is Power BI service. On Power BI service, you can schedule refresh and you can do all those things in there. Okay, I think the recording will be shared. We have your emails or what you registered with. So the 3 tools taken from MS Excel, Power Query, Power Pivot, and Power View. Yeah, okay. So someone is asking a question about MacBook. I think I just spoke about MacBook. Yeah, you have to install a Windows parallel to be able to install Power BI.
Yeah, so you can have parallel. You can also partition your Mac. So there's a way you can partition your Mac so that you can have a Windows environment. So parallel is also another alternative, but I think parallel is becoming no longer free now. So it might get to a point where you have to purchase. So that is where the other option of having to partition your computer to have a Windows environment, your Mac to have a Windows environment comes in. So both have their, if not for cost, parallel will be the straightforward thing. And of course, some people also have issues with, the partitioning because sometimes it doesn't sit well with their MacBook. So either of the 2 options work, but parallel is still the best option if it allows you to use it for free.
Okay, is there coding part in Power BI? Yeah, of course. There is DAX, data analysis expression. So is very, very interesting. DAX is very, very in fact, DAX is my most favorite part of Power BI. Very interesting. So it's very interesting. Very simple formulas, but does a whole lot.
Yeah, but it's not like the usual normal, software development coding. So you shouldn't be scared or be worried. So it's not even DAX is written in Excel. So if you're very familiar with Excel, you see a lot of people write DAX. It's still the same DAX you have to write in Power BI. So it's nothing really to worry about. All right. So I think in the meantime, while the questions keep coming in, I will just quickly share with you some other information that we have within the academy. So in case where you are, if you want to consider, learning with an academy or within a community, because the truth of the matter is that the best way to learn is a community. So if I had the opportunity to start all over again, I probably would choose to, start with learn within a community, right? So the advantage that our community brings is that, sorry, before I go ahead, there's a question: where can someone who wants to transition to design start from? So, like you have mentioned, I will quickly run through, or let me just quickly answer that question before I run through this presentation here. If you want to go into data analysis, first thing you need to know is Excel, right? I mean, it's not like you can't start with anything, but it's usually advisable that you start with Excel. So once you understand Excel to an extent, it will, and when I say understanding Excel to an extent, it's not like you need to have a very complete knowledge of Excel, but at least the major basic Excel, the VLOOKUP, the index and match, and also logic statement, as well as, knowing how to use your pivot, your power pivot and your power query in Excel, knowing how to use it. Once you know how to do that, that will give you an easy transition into Power BI. So the next thing you want to learn will be Power BI. So it can either be Power BI or Tableau, right? So you see a lot of competition, or you see a lot of conversation around which to choose. You can choose to learn both, but I would always advise you learn Power BI, because if you look at the market, the most widely used, especially within the market where we operate, Nigeria, the Europe, you have a lot of huge adoption of Power BI. For Tableau, the market is divided between Tableau and Power BI even in the North American market, right? But either of the two, you definitely easily land you something within the North American market. But within Europe and Africa and Middle East, I will always advise that you go for Power BI. Of course, if you have enough time later, you can, dabble into Tableau. But Power BI still remains the, go-to tool for, especially with its integration with other Microsoft infrastructure or Microsoft tools. So then once you know Power BI, you need to know SQL. SQL is very important. It's like but if you look at every job opening of data analysts out there, almost 90% of them would have SQL as part of the tools that you need to know, right? So SQL is, in fact, even almost 100%. I have to be honest with you. So you have to know SQL, and then there's a way SQL will increase your market value. And then maybe later on you can then add Python to it as something to put in your arsenal to also increase your employability value. So those are the step-by-step tools that you need to in that sequence. Those are the tools you need to learn in that sequence. In terms of anyone who wants to leverage on our community, we have we practically, because we are experts and we are people who work within an organization as a data analyst or data engineer or BI developer, we simply have an idea of what it takes or what it requires or what you need to know for you to land your first job, what you need to know to enter, more like an entry-level knowledge, intermediate knowledge, as well as advanced knowledge. We are not saying we are going to take you from where you are to advanced knowledge. No. It takes a lot of work experience to actually get there. But what we can do is that we'll definitely take you beyond the entry-level skill. And then we'll take you beyond the entry-level skills, and we'll practically almost place you within the intermediate skill. And when I say practically place you, I mean it means that you have to go through all of the things we have we've planned out as a program for you. So meaning that our engagement with you does not even end after the training, right? There are opportunities for you to leverage on some kind of internship opportunity. There are also opportunity for you to leverage within our community, so that if you have questions, if you need to prepare for an interview, if you will need to do this, you can leverage on that community to guide you. So it's more like hand-holding you, right? I mean, it has actually got into that. So we try as much as possible to still stay with the people even after they get the job, and then continue to support them until when they can stand on their own. So in terms of our approach to learning, like I said, we have this gamified approach to learning. Try to make it exciting and interesting, right? No discrimination. We ensure that we work on proper business cases that you go through, right? I can tell you that I've worked on a project where we have to migrate data from SAP and CRM into Dynamics 365. So, where we have to write a lot of SQL. Now, those are like the knowledge that I have gathered from there are things that, we integrate into the knowledge, the approach, the kind of project that things we integrate into the trainings that we do. So capstone project, you have to work on projects, you have to, so you get certificate after you complete the program, the sessions are recorded, whether it is online class or a physical class, they are recorded. You can always watch back just to, if you miss out on something or you're trying to remember something, you can always watch back. Of course, I mentioned of the post-training support where you can leverage on our community. And then also we have of course, like I mentioned, we reward performance. We try as much as possible to meet up with the alumni every quarter, just to ensure that we share new things with them, new development, new trends within the ecosystem. And like I mentioned earlier, yesterday we had an alumni session for Q2, and we looked at how you can. So we looked at how you can develop, financial statements in Power BI, the same Power BI that has just been shown to you, right? So, so those are the kind of things that you get to leverage on within our community. So, should you all be interested in joining us, this is what our program looks like. We have a bundle of 3 courses, 3 tools: Excel, Power BI, and SQL. It runs for 2 months, weekends only. I'm sorry, weekends. It runs for 2 months. We have the weekend session and we have the weekday session. But we only have weekdays for the physical class. So we have both weekdays and weekend for the physical class, and then we have just online for the weekend class. We have just weekend for the online class only. I'm sorry, I need to look at the question. I think there are some questions there. Sorry for this question. I just reconnect. Okay. Please, the BI the BI and Excel tool that can be found on Excel. I'm not sure I get that question. Like Tom Moses. There's quite some similarity between Tableau and Power BI. Oh yes, they practically does almost the same thing. How many months can I use to learn if I don't have any level of experience? So our programs are simply beginners friendly. Whether you're a lawyer and the only thing you do is to go to court and you want to transition, our programs are very well tailored to support you, to guide you, to encourage you, and that's so how many months? So the training runs for 2 months. The weekend classes, the weekdays runs the week. So the thing about the weekdays is that it doesn't. We don't have you will not be taught Excel in class for the weekdays, but with the weekend you'll be taught Excel, Power BI, and SQL. But for the weekdays, you only be taught Power BI and SQL in class, but the Excel, you'll be given a recorded session to watch. That's for the weekdays. But for the weekend, it is from Excel to Power BI. For the weekdays, it runs for 2 weeks. And then, like I said, for the weekend, it runs for 8 weekends. For physical class is basically 9 to 5, and then for the online is Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 to 7 p.m. And then these are the next start dates. So, so that being said, we also offer data science and machine learning program with course with Python. So where you also learn how to build models. I mean, the world is transcending towards AI. Everything right now is AI. So the foundation of AI is data science and machine learning. So you need to first learn how to build models, especially models that can help businesses to predict what, more like help them predict their business outcomes. So Python is a very, amazing tool that can help you to build models. Of course, Python is also, has a lot of data science or data analysis libraries that you can use to do data analysis. So, so it's a good tool to have in your arsenal. And then we have the physical and the online class as well. So So that being said, and of course, we also have some other programs, that are practically on demand, financial modeling and business valuation, as well as business analysis on demand. So I want to see if there are still more questions. Thank you. During training, there will be games in between. Yeah, yes, definitely. So somebody answered the question. Please, what is this gamified learning app? Yeah, so gamify is all about integrating gaming into your learning. So even if I still learn, but even if I still learn, even when I try to learn, sometimes I get tired, I get frustrated if the programs are not interesting, if the teaching is not interesting, I mean, you know what it means for what they call adult education. So it's very difficult for adults to learn. So if the training approach is gamified, or maybe simply what that simply means is that if there are a lot of fun that are integrated into the learnings, it makes it a bit more interesting for you to learn and to move along. So that is simply what gamified learning approach means. I think Eddie Bassi also has done justice with a response. Share some light on physical and online classes, number of days for training, and how long it's for. So I think we have it here. So for the data analysis, which is a mix of Excel, Power BI, and SQL, for the physical class, it starts this next week and next Saturday. It runs only on Saturday. It's a marathon, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. with some breaks in between. When I say break, I mean like 30 minutes break in between. It runs for 8 weeks. So it runs for 8 weeks. So you're going to learn Excel, you're going to learn Power BI, you're going to learn SQL. So if and all of it are practically project based. For the online, it runs on Saturdays and Sundays, 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. So you're going to have 16 classes, right? So and then it starts June 17th. That's upper Saturday. That's when it starts. In terms of the price, you can see the pricing there. If you choose to pay one time, if you also choose to pay twice, you have the prices there. So are those the questions coming? Please, my system doesn't accommodate Power BI easily, and when it does, the system will be hanging. What can I do to rectify this? It depends. So we need to understand what is whether it's a capacity issue or just an issue that you need to figure out why. But it's not a question that we can answer here. But maybe if you reach out to us, we can maybe have a look and then advise you. How long does the training takes? Months or years? And is your teaching based only online? So, like I said, it's a program. It's a program. The program we have for you doesn't end at the training. So, the truth of the matter is that after the training, we will now have the opportunity to do another 2 months with us. Some form of internship, which is online internship, is not paid, and you can and it runs usually at night, especially to accommodate those who work 9 to 5. So usually once a week, where you have task, assigned task, assigned task, and then so you are assigned task, and then you have to present or review the task in the next session. So so that's how so that runs for another 2 weeks, and trust me, 2 months. I can tell you that if you're able to go through the process of the um internship, it easily places you to close to the intermediate level and takes you away from the beginner's level. I mean, after the training, you can just say, I'm not a beginner data analyst, but what takes you away from that beginner or that entry level is after you've worked on practical project, right? Practical project. This week we have some meetings with our client who wants to bring their ERP or their financials into their Power BI platform that I built with them, and we intend to engage some of the people who are in the current internship we are having, we're trying to engage them in that session so that they can have an idea of what stakeholders management is, how requirement comes, and how to handle them. So is that all of the question? Yeah, so I also have, are you guys on the island? No, we are not on the island. Our office is in Ikeja. For online starting something, when is the last day of payment? The last day of payment is as quick as you can. Because the truth of the matter is that you have to be prepared for the class. There are a lot of things you have to do before the class. You send you an onboarding email. You have to install some couple of softwares. You have to set up. So there are just some onboarding activities that needs to be done. So the earlier you do, realize that most of the people who come in late tends to, sometimes maybe if they probably would, find themselves being lost in the first class, right? So because the truth is that, it kind of drags us back in some way or the other. So as soon as you can, at least before the class, just give some days before the class. Where's the location for physical class? Is at Ikeja, number 27 Amore Street, right? It's off Toyin Street, Ikeja, just the street beside St. Leo's Catholic Church, straight down, in between Total and St. Leo's Catholic Church, just straight down, you'll be able to get to 27. I don't really get it. If I need online classes, will I still need to come from physical? So I have to. No. Online classes is different from physical classes. They are completely two different things. So it's just what is convenient for you that you have to choose. So that's why we have different prices for the online and then another price for the physical class. Yeah, Eddie Bassi, I hope this answers your question. All right, so yeah, so please, these fees are quite high. Any discount for us? So the discount is already given to you already. If you tend to pay one time, you can. Apparently, you know what's happening within the country, right? And this is the pricing that we've had, and we can't even afford to, take it up. But maybe later on reality might set in, but it would be a very difficult thing to say we want to offer further discount to what we currently have here. So is the online class live? Yes, it's live. It is live. I mean, like just like the way we've had this session, all of the sessions you have instructor and take you from scratch to end. No, they are not, but it is live. But while it's live, just like the way we are recording this session is also recorded. So you can go back to what was taught in class in case you need to listen. Location for physical class. I have mentioned it here again. So you can see here, 27 Amore Street off Toyin Street, Ikeja. So that is the location of our physical class. Yeah, thank you. Somebody responded, is at Ikeja. How can we reach your mail phone number? Okay, so you have the phone numbers there, you have the email here, and we're also available on our Instagram, scenario_academy on Instagram. But these are our phone numbers. You can call or chat our phone numbers, and then someone will respond to you. Then the location again, this is the location of our physical classes here. Yeah. So what's the cost of the financial modeling training? So the current price is, I think, 80,000 if I'm not correct. The current price is 80,000, but that price is subject to review. But at least for now, the current price is 80,000 for the financial modeling. So you can reach out to us, chat us. We can give you the so we give you the outline. I think we used to have it on our website, but since we changed, We haven't brought it back, but you can reach out to us, any of the numbers. I'm going to drop some of the numbers here. So chat any of these numbers. Yeah. All right. So can an extra class be held, just in case I'm confused in some session? Kind of looks boring to me as a okay. So the thing about the thing about this thing is that one, you have a class group, right? Meaning that we have a WhatsApp group for each class, and the instructors are present in that class. So sorry. So the instructors are present in the class, in the group, and during the class, there's no way the instructor will move on to the next topic if everybody does not get the current topic, right? Or the current subject that is being taught. There's no way we can move on to the next one. So there's no way. And then even afterward, you can still just drop a message in the group chat and say you don't understand this, and then the instructor will definitely maybe can quickly arrange a session to explain it to you. So that's how it's that's how our operation works. Please, how about Abuja for physical class? No, we don't have any place in Abuja yet for physical class. What kind of certificate does one get after doing? So it's certificate of completion. You can always do some, we also guide you, can also guide you on how you can do some other external examinations, right, to be certified. So there's an exam called excuse me. So I think is it P300 now? I think it's PL300. I can't remember what it is. Yeah, from DA 100, it's been changed to
It's PL300. Yeah.
PL300, yes.
Yeah.
So it used to be DA 100, but it's now PL300. So it's a Power BI exam by Microsoft. Once you do it, once you take the exam, you pass it, you become a Microsoft certified data analyst, right? So we can guide you on how you can go about it, and also support you to earn that certificate. But what we offer after the training is simply certificate of completion. Thank you. Omoye has also answered that question. What type of laptop is good for training? Microsoft as Windows computer, preferably Windows computer. I'll continue to emphasize on that. At least 4 gig RAM may work, but preferably 8 gig RAM. Of course, also a minimum of about 250 gigabytes. I mean, for the purpose of learning, you probably would not be working on very, very massive data like that, but the specification I've mentioned should work for you. And in terms of the operating capacity of the processor, maybe maybe an HP Core i3, i5, or preferably i5. If you have i3 to work with, if you have i5, it's more, it becomes a bit more interesting. Because how do we deal with not including Excel in the weekday class? So like I said, the Excel will be given to you ahead of the class, the recording of the Excel class. Of course, if you have questions or there are aspects of the Excel recording that you do not understand, you can ask question, and then somebody would help you out and explain, advise you on whatever areas that are not clear to you. So that is the the reason why. Most of the people that come for this training, they take holidays, and they take holidays to attend the training. So it was just not ideal, because usually Excel is more of a kind of introduction. I can tell you that I haven't used Excel since the last how many years in any of my jobs. So Excel just gives you that entry level into the the data analytics ecosystem. That's what Excel does. It gives you that entrance, it gives you that, helps you to land into that, into the ecosystem or it just helps you to start your journey properly, right? And then you now transition into the other two. So I can decide not to learn Excel and then start with Power BI, right? And it will still not make any difference. But there's just a way having to learn Excel gives you that advantage, right? Because sometimes most data analysts would definitely would have to do with Excel at some point, if not most of the time. You understand? So, but the core of analytics now is beginning to look more of visualizations, where you now have to deploy the use of tools like Power BI and Tableau and the like. So that's where the concentration is, right? Anybody can use Excel. Most people can use Excel. You don't even have to be a data analyst and you know how to use Excel, but there's just, that. So we'll give you the recording and then you go through the recording before the start of the class. So that recording will just give you that, that confidence to start the class. For the online, is it recorded or live? We said it's live. It's a live session, just like we are having this session. So it's going to be, we have a 16 session, right? Saturday and Sunday. We meet 4:30 to this thing, and then you have the instructor teach you from subject to subject. Excel, usually we start with the basics of Excel, cell referencing, cell referencing, all of the three type of cell referencing, which gives you that, foundation of Excel itself, of every other thing you do in Excel. And then, going to VLOOKUP, index match, power pivot, logic statement, power query, and the likes. And then, so that will run for like the first 4 sessions, and then Power BI will take over for another 6 sessions. And then SQL will also take over for another 6 sessions. So that's how the program is. So both weekend classes, both online and physical class, it is Excel, SQL, and Power BI. Only the weekdays doesn't have Excel. Only the weekday class, physical class. And then, like I said, the classes are recorded so that you can go back and rewatch what was taught in class. Are we going to get a recording of this session? Yes, you will. What's the cost of the exam? I can't remember, honestly. You probably just reach out to us and then we'll because the prices changes from time to time because of the dollar value. So can't really tell the Naira value. Are we going to get a recording of the session? Yes, you will. Yeah. Okay, seems we are done with all the questions. Any question with respect to the presentation so far, both the one I did as well as the one that was done by Augustine? Any question? You want us to reiterate on anything? You can also speak. You can unmute your mic if you want to speak. You can unmute your mic.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you. Good evening, Emmanuel.
Okay, so please, your data analysis package, is it just purely data analysis, or it comes with business intelligence and data analysis?
Okay, so part of what we have done today is what you call business intelligence, right? What Augustine has shown you is practically business intelligence. Power BI itself is called Power Business Intelligence. That's why it's called Power BI, right? So it's called business intelligence, but of course, business intelligence is basically an arm of data analysis, right? And especially when you design a report in Power BI, you automate it so it runs on itself, and there's some, you can ask it questions and it will answer you. So it becomes, it's like intelligence being built into, analysis. That's why you have the, the word business intelligence. So I don't know, Augustine may want to also, chip in something, but business intelligence is the core part of data analytics, right? Data analytics, the word analytics. So business intelligence is central to everything that we do or that we teach in class, business intelligence. So that's simply, that.
Okay, sorry, please. Another one. I can see from the courses that is displaying that financial modeling and business valuation is part of the other programs. Is it not part of what one who has paid for data analysis should know?
No, it's okay. So I'm trying to see if I can find the financial modeling. I'm trying to see if I can find the this is what I can show you. So financial modeling is completely different. So we have sorry, give me a second. I think I have this. I'm going to show you. Okay, I'm trying to look for the document I can't find. So financial modeling is completely different from data analysis. So financial modeling is more of a lot of, assumptions in financials. So we're talking about doing all of those valuations, all those, WAF, all of those. I'm not sure why I can't find this material. So you can see what it looks like in terms of the content of the financial model course. Is completely different from data analysis. You're talking about valuation, you're talking about, building models, right? Talking about financial models. So it's like a financial analyst, program. So you become a financial modeler, you have to, learn a lot of financial modeling, a lot of assumptions, build a lot of assumptions, build a lot of models and the like. So it's completely different. And I think once you see the content, you definitely understand why why it's different, right? So which is completely out of scope of a data analyst. You understand?
Okay,
So,
okay. Thank you very much, sir. Sorry. My last question. Most people get confused with the differences that comes with business analyst and data analyst. Please, can you help us succinctly break down these differences between a business analyst and a data analyst, what they do, and also you can tell us what the average salary ranges is like, both in Nigeria and probably outside, for a data analyst and a business analyst, and which of them is more important to actually get first?
Of course, this is interesting because we get this, most of the time when we have this session. So the first question is the difference between business analyst and a data analyst. So a data analyst simply work with data, derive insight from the data, right? Or, the idea is to get value from data and then propose it to the stakeholders, right? Who are the stakeholders? The finance, usually is largely commercial team, sales and marketing team, right? Or the commercial team. Of course, at some point, the operations team also needs insight, right? In terms of their data. Operation is in charge of call center. So if you have 100 calls comes in every day, it's possible that, and you sell 10 different products, it's possible that 80 of those 100 calls, are complaints about 2 of those 10 products that you sell. So it gives you a bit of an insight. So you know that if you're able to solve the problem that's related to those 2 products, you have solved about 80% of the calls that you receive every month, right? So those are like in terms of use cases for operations and when it comes to data analysis. So you are the one that, do that data analysis, and then you present as a data analyst, you present insight. This is what is happening. This is what the business is saying, your data is saying about your business, and this is the actions I think you should take. Now, when it comes to a business analyst practically, work within a project or, within a team or within a project to practically provide guidance. When I say guidance, so we want to build a project, we need to understand what the project would look like, some kind of imaginary, understanding of what the project looks like. So it is a business analyst that, goes to the stakeholders, say a business analyst can work within a data team. It can also work within any other team, whether it's a data or any other team that are actually doing a project. So what the business analyst does is that it goes to the people who initiate the project, ask them what they want to achieve, document it, flesh it out, design some, diagram in terms of what the architecture looks like, what this thing looks like, and then, explain to the people who will be building a project, simple terms, what, he feels that the project or what the project really means or what needs to be done, right? So it's more like getting requirement from stakeholders, interpreting it, analyzing and interpreting it to people who will build a project. That is the role of a data analyst. If we want to migrate data, let's say we are changing our software, we want to migrate data from the old software to the new software. It's a project. A data analyst will sit down, so a business analyst will sit down and understand, what the existing system looks like, where we are going, what it looks like. And in order for us to do the integration, what are the things we need, what are the tables we need to extract data from, what is because the destination table, this is what the destination table looks like, and these are the type of data to accept. Where do we get the data from in the old table, the old system? Where do we get the data from? What table do we get the data from? Right. So all of those things are documented by a business analyst, right? And handed over to the developer. In fact, that's where project manager now comes in to pick what the business analyst has done, maybe document it on a board where developer can now go in there to pick each task, right? It breaks all those requirements into tasks, put it on let's say a Jira board or a DevOps environment, and then each developer who is assigned a certain task can go in there, pick the task, get it done, and then close it, right? So that's the role. So you can say the role of a data analyst is like the person that does the job itself, while the business analyst tells the data analyst what to do when it comes to project or when it comes to. So he fleshes out, he gets understanding, is in front of the business analyst, in front of the client or the stakeholders to understand what they want to achieve, and then interpret it to the developer, through either a document or usually a document, right? And then supported with word of mouth meetings and the likes to understand, and then continue to look at how to improve the what has been built. I hope that answers the question. So I know you went ahead to ask for that question. I'm not sure if I've captured that.
Okay, sorry. I asked about possible salary differences of business analyst and data analyst, both in Nigeria and probably Europe. If you have knowledge on that too, you can let us know, please.
Okay, so it might not be accurate, right, in terms of the amount. It might not be accurate, the amounts for Nigerian data analysts. So like I said, there's entry level, there's intermediate, and there's advanced. Apparently entry level is also becoming scrapped, right? Entry level is likely being replaced by internship. So I may not be able to give an accurate number with respect to internship, but at the intermediate level, And I know this, I mean, if August, if you have a contrary opinion, you can always say, like I said, it may not be accurate, but I know an entry-level person can earn between 300 to 400, right? And then a senior, data analyst in Nigeria, can earn as high as 700. So 700,000. So, that seems to be a bit, I don't want to use the word standard, like just, something around that, those numbers. And then abroad, because I'm currently based in the UK. I think same with Augustine. And what with the numbers here is, it fluctuates depending on the number of years of experience you have, right? Or the number of tools that you know and the likes. But the thing about here is that the roles are completely separated, right? You can be hired in Nigeria as a data analyst, and they are doing the job of a data scientist together. But here they are completely different. So the numbers are completely skewed. So a data scientist can earn as high as £30,000 in the UK. A data analyst can earn as high as £50,000. When I say £50,000, that's per annum, right? So you can break that into 12 to see the monthly numbers. A BI developer, because BI developer here simply combines the role of a data analyst and a data engineer, in as much as data engineer is also a separate role on its own. But a BI analyst actually, does visualization and also does engineering, right? So a data engineer earns as high as maybe 50 to 60, which is average. So these numbers are average. It can be higher than that, it can be lower than that, and also about the same, amounts that the BI developer earns. So those are the numbers. In America, it goes as high as maybe 80, 90, 100, right? That's like on average across all of the possible positions. But most of the time, you find the data engineers earn more higher than the data analysts. Most of the time, the data engineers, because those are a bit more technical roles than just the data analyst. You understand? And the data analyst anybody can be a data analyst. So I can just, pick up all of these tools that we have here. And then we start, and then in 4 months, I can work my way to landing my first job. But it may not be this case for a data engineer, right? A data engineer, probably most of them, most data engineers actually also start from here. And then when they are done, they now start picking some new tools in data engineering to actually, this. And then one of the things I want to mention is that having some knowledge of the cloud tools also helps you to increase your value, right? Your earning capabilities. So those are the numbers. But like I said, in America, sometimes as high as 100 or more, 120, and also as low as 80, 90. So depending on your level of experience, the tools that right? So that's why once you learn or these 3 tools, you don't need to relax. You need to keep adding a bit more tools for it to so like I said, confidently I'm giving you the numbers within the UK, but Nigeria, those numbers that I've given you are a bit, it could be skewed, but those are just some, kind of ideas of the numbers that I feel that people earn now in Nigeria.
So, sorry, please. When you mean cloud tools, do you mean programming languages?
So it's not programming language per se. So cloud tool is like data analysis is done so data analysis can be done and deployed within a data center within an organization, right? So what that means is that it's on-premise, right? And then these are some of the tools that you use to develop, data solutions that are deployed on-prem. But the idea is that, some of these on-prem infrastructure, majority of them are not scalable, right? So data continues to grow, the infrastructures can no longer handle it. And that was what bet the cloud infrastructure, which is scalable. So you pay for what you use. And the more your data grows, the more the infrastructure grows automatically with it. So we have tools like Azure Data Factory, Google BigQuery, and the likes. So if you know all of these tools, they actually, because a lot of organizations are moving from on-prem, especially in the UK and America, from on-prem to cloud. So they are moving all the solutions they have deployed on their premise server to cloud. So if you have a knowledge of this, it gives you that, leverage to take on those jobs. And there are jobs that actually pay higher than, the ones that, the ones that are done with this. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm sorry. One last thing. I've had a couple of opportunities to take data analysis courses, but at the end of the day, I find out that most times you just get the recorded videos, you watch and write the final exam and get certified, that's all. But yes, on the knowledge side, it helps you get knowledge. But practically, does it scale you up? Does it make you sellable? Does it give you that skill you actually require? Not just coming online.
Sorry for taking you back.
Okay.
I wanted to get the initial aspect. So you said learning what? Is it learning online, or what do you mean?
Yes, online learning. I wanted to ask if you people in your firm has this continue learning process for someone who has finished taking the course, maybe an opportunity for internship, or still like taking your student along, because one can just come online and read and learn and watch, get certified, and still don't even get this opportunity to get the jobs, to do internship, and to actually help scale, even from helping to build CVs that will be very attractive to get good jobs, both in the UK and both in Nigeria. So I want to know if you have that offer in your package.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier. So we are, and also I'll be honest with you, right? In my in this conversation, the 2 months you're going to use to learn is never going to be enough for you. That's why if you look at our package, is a journey. It's not just learning, it's a journey. So first thing it starts with, helping you to learn in the class, where you go through the boot camp, which is like the 8 weeks boot camp, whether it is online you want to learn or physical class, 8 weeks boot camp. Once you are done with that, you have the opportunity to join the internship session that runs for another 2 to 3 months. And in that internship, you are working on like project that we have done for clients, right? So it gives you that, organization experience, that it gives you that client consultant relations, experience, how requirement comes in, how you build them. Not just that, what you do is you even build a project we have done for a client from scratch, right, till the end in the internship, right? So that would cement or solidify the knowledge that you have gained in class. So that runs for another 2 to 3 months. That's after your 2 weeks class. And then you now have the community to leverage on. So in the community, you can just, you are working on something and you're unable to resolve it. And then even in the community, we have like a kind of monthly challenge where we drop in project every month. So jump on those projects, try and solve it, solve it, and then, build a portfolio from there. Within our community as well, if you need help with interview or even have catalog of interviews, somebody who has done interview somewhere, these are the questions they're asking, and then you can also then you can also do these things. But in terms of the CV optimization and the LinkedIn and the likes, those comes at cost, right? So there's some additional cost that comes with helping you with your, LinkedIn profile as well as your CV, design a proper CV. Also depending on the market. So different CV for different markets, right? Whether you're in Nigeria or you're abroad. So there are different type of ways you need to do your CBs, and then you can, you can. So we definitely handhold you, you train you, you get the opportunity to intern for 2 to 3 months, and then we handhold you within our community. So learning doesn't stop, it continues. Emmanuel, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you very much, sir.
All right.
That's very fair enough.
All right. Okay, let me just check if there's still questions. Okay, I think there are no more questions. Any question? Anybody? Somebody else? Yeah, Olaito, please go ahead.
Yes, good evening.
Hi.
Yes, I wanted to ask because I could see there is a wide margin between the physical class and that of online class, whereby even the online class is a bit cheaper than that of physical class.
Yes.
So I don't know why it's like that, because physical class, once we have to travel, not all of us that live within Ikeja, once we have to travel from where we are down to Ikeja. I don't know why it's like that. Considering the economic challenge in the country, unlike me talking to you, I do not live inside the Lagos. I live in Badagry, and if I have to choose that physical class, it means I will still be living Badagry for Ikeja. So I don't know. I don't know how it's being done that way. So I just need a clarification. Is there a way, we can be considered, for those of us that will be coming from afar?
Okay, I know I've spoken about this earlier, and
I was a bit idea. I mean, the network delayed before, and I couldn't get to what. That's why it's come here.
Yeah, so I mean, it's very easy to justify the difference between. Can you mute your mic, please, Olaito?
Okay.
All right. So there's a reason. I mean, there's an obvious reason for why the physical class is more expensive, because it actually costs a lot to run the physical class. In fact, we started with online class. It was later on that we had to introduce the physical class based on demand. It's never comfortable for anybody to run a physical class. If you look at our competitors, that's why I mentioned that one of our competitive advantages that we offer physical classes. It's not everybody who can learn online, right? So a lot of organizations run from running a physical class because of the cost that comes with it, right? The inconvenience that comes with it. So, and also we can't keep you in class for a week, for 8 weeks and not feed you, right? So beyond that, so there's just a lot of cost that comes with it that actually justifies the reason for, running, I would definitely charge somebody more to go and take an physical class than for me to take an online class, right? Whoever wants to hire me to teach a class. So there are a lot of, cost of running the environment, the cost of renting the environment, the cost of, it's actually a no-brainer, right? Even the current pricing is actually, just to even encourage people, right? And then and the interesting part of this physical class is that it even sell out fast because the capacity is limited. The capacity is limited. It sells out fast. So honestly, it's a question that has always come up, and there's just no two answers to it. It's just this one answer, which is the fact that it costs a lot to run a physical class than to run an online class. So unfortunately, I doubt if there's anything we can do about it. Unfortunately.
All right, no problem. So it's noted.
Yes. So I have I think it's Abdul Malik that wanted to speak before Ngozi. Please, Abdul Malik, do you still want to speak? Okay, Ngozi, you can go ahead, please.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Good evening. Yeah. Please, my question is, You said the online class is just for 8 weeks. Are you saying immediately after the 8 weeks, you guarantee us of the internship of 3 months? Is that what you're saying, or we're going to pay or something? I want to be sure of it. If after 8 months, you guarantee us that we're going to have internship of 3 months with you. Thank you.
I'm trying to see if I can if I can just show some evidence to this. So coming, just give me a second. So this is just a second, please. So I want to show you this chart. So this is a group chart for the internship, right? So you can see the internship. It's starting. So we have an internship that is starting this week, right? This week. So this is the group. This is the team voting for the best time to have our session. So so it is I highlighted it in my presentation earlier. So the idea is that it might not be immediately, but if there's going to be a gap, it shouldn't be, more than 1 month or 1 month gap between when you round up, because you will have to work on your project first, because the project is what admits you to the internship. After the class, you are given a project to work on, and then the project is what admits you into the internship, because the project is going to challenge you. Of course, it helps you to put to use what you have learned in class. And then, of course, you can always ask questions if you are lost, but that project is what will now admit you into the internship. So like I said, it might not be immediately, but, the gap between when you finish your class and when you join the internship can never be more than 1 month.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if that is the case, if we finish the classes for like 8 weeks,
Yeah.
you said we have a project. That now who will then guide us on the project? Or when you finish your 8 weeks, you go and sort yourself out concerning the project, or how do you run it? The reason why I'm saying is I'm actually running one right now, and I'm not happy.
Okay.
I can't even mention the amount I've paid. I'm on my project right now. I know what I'm saying. It's still a business question they have given me. And I'm complaining, I don't understand. As in, I don't know. They will sweet mouth you to pay, but at the end of it all. So I'm sorry if I'm sounding this way. So that's
No,
it's fine.
it's fine. No,
Going through the
it's
process
okay
is not even the major thing. Is the project, the internship, that is the one I want, not even the classes. So that's why I'm really asking. If all those things will be factored in, I don't mind. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so when you are done with it, so we have Excel, we have SQL, we have Power BI, we have SQL. So you start with Excel, you move to SQL. So you move to Power BI. After the Power BI, you're giving your capstone project, right? And then SQL. After SQL, you also have some kind of coding challenge you do. But the main project is that Power BI project, which is a business case. Of course, when we say business case, let me even tell you, number one thing, that it depends on what you have learned or how you have learned it, right? And how you have learned it gives you, we have a submission rate of over 90%, right? Of course, the internship is one thing that we use to challenge people so that they ensure that they do that. I mean, it was just the best way to have done it. If you don't do the project, you won't join the internship. But of course, that's not even your question. Your question is that you need guidance. So once you have that project, one, we encourage people to work in teams. So within the class, you see, let me show you a question. Let me see if I can. I just like to, show evidence to back up some of those things. number one thing is that you have the instructor to help you on your project, to support you, to guide you, to advise you. The instructors are always available almost all the time, right? I have a project problem, I'm working on this, I can't even understand this business case. So the first thing first is that you are not just given the business case, we are walked through the business case, saying, okay, you have this data set, explain the data set to you, and then interpret it to you based on what has been taught in class. So the first question is saying that, can you understand, identify seasonality within this, within the data? He or she will guide you and say, okay, how to do seasonality. These are the best charts you can use, and these are the way you do it. And then it helps you to give you an idea of something. So the idea is to avoid, doing it for you, but the explanation will look as if you're showing you how you're going to do it, right? So that's the one thing. And secondly, anytime you are stuck, you would always have somebody who you can call on, and then the person will jump on a call with you to help you and guide you. So it's more of a kind of project support, right? So we have that. And then, of course, I'm not sure how and why you found yourself in the situation you are, except maybe, I don't know if you are abandoned, because I need to understand the story properly, because it's quite strange where somebody, except maybe you, or did you call their attention that you need help and they're not helping you?
Well, it is well. The other thing is just, they are not just available to, all they're after is just the money. We explaining things for them to come down. It's not as if I'm a novice. No. But I don't know, just let's just forget about that one. But
We
I'm
have
actually still on it. I'm still on it. So I'm still, still talking to them on extension. But
okay.
I'm actually interested in this. So I just want to clear off that
Yeah.
in my the
No.
why I jump into this, so that we'll have better understanding.
Yeah, I think hand-holding internship, they are completely very important, especially in the in the period we are right now. Because the truth is, the organizations are not hiring people who just learn and then want to start working, right? So that's why their internship will really give you an idea of how we build a particular solution. Then you have to build it yourself for a client, right? And then the community, we can hold you, you ask questions, you can drop in any problem you're trying to solve, or you're doing something that is giving you a problem, you can drop it in somebody. It might even be a student or an ex-student that will help you, right, and answer your question for you. So that's the advantage of the community. I have an interview tomorrow. Please, what do I need to learn? What do I need to do? Somebody can quickly jump on a call with you and then tell you, advise you, these are things you need to learn, these are the areas you need to focus on, the people who won't have experience across different organizations, and that they can give you that, they can give you that advice.